Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jose Carrillo, Executive Director of AidLive, and Tatiana Torres, Vice President of Public Affairs at SKDK.
Thank you.
Muy buenas tardes, good afternoon. Soy Tatiana Torres or Tatiana Torres, depending how you hear me today. I'm not sure.
Tatiana hoy.
Tatiana, hoy es Tatiana, that's right. José, un placer.
Igual.
De verdad que sí.
Un gusto conocerte.
Igualmente.
Y estar aquí compartiendo este espacio de Concordia.
Igualmente. Bueno, le comentaba a José, I was telling José that I am an immigrant, so this conversation that we are going to have today hits home. It's very personal to me. 35 years ago, my family and I migrated from the beautiful country of Colombia when I was 5 years old. And we left because of geopolitical situations in the country and have been raised in the United States. But I'm always, even though I'm a very proud American citizen, always keep in mind the experiences of being an immigrant child in the United States and what that was like. So today, I want to talk about AidLive. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about some of the situations that you've seen. So give me a 34,000-foot view in 1 minute of what AidLive is.
Okay. AidLive was created, as you may know, after the concert, 3 months after the concert, after the donation of more than 75,000 people during the concert in Cucuta. Mm-hmm. We created a concert. And after the concert, we created AidLive as a formal NGO in Colombia, because we thought that humanitarian aid was important, but we were thinking in the mid and long-term problems that many migrants, especially Venezuelan migrants in Colombia, were facing.
Right.
But also the situation in Venezuela in 2019 was very, very chaotic. So we developed, after that, more than 10 programs as a Organización de Segundo Piso, second-tier organization. We will supporting many organizations and co-creating programs with them, especially to secure access to basic services to migrants, especially kids. But during that time, we discovered that that wasn't enough. I mean, we have more than 20,000 direct beneficiaries, but obviously the magnitude of the problem was way bigger.
Right.
And after the Colombian government implemented the Permiso Especial de Permanencia, this policy
Special
that allowed,
permanency.
exactly, to allow more than 2 million Venezuelans to have legal status in Colombia and to be able to work, obviously the opportunity was there. We have a vision of migration as an opportunity, and as I mentioned earlier, and I think Colombia authorities saw that as, again, also as an opportunity. And after that, we've been implementing employability programs for migrants, and it's been very successful. In the past 6 months, we have created a free program called, we call it Free. It's an employment, and we accompany the migrants after they get the job in order for them to have a proper inclusion in the work area. So we've been doing that, and also we're very happy to partner with WestField Business School here in Florida, that we're giving scholarships to migrants not only in Colombia but also Latin America and in the US, because we believe that there's so much potential. As I was mentioning before, you can see the refugee crisis or migration crisis as a crisis or as an opportunity.
So before you continue, mm-hmm. Obviously there are many challenges that immigrants face: mental, cultural, financial, physical, even spiritual. Mm-hmm. And these unprecedented challenges, also with them come opportunities for them and their families, but also for the countries that they're going to.
Exactly.
Can we talk a little bit about I know that you guys focus on the live, heal, and grow model of the individuals that are migrating.
Exactly.
What are the opportunities?
Well, let me put it this way. Just 1,000 migrants with a job can create taxes for more than $2 or $3 million. So instead of them being dependent, they become aportantes. They become contributors to the society. Not only in the cultural way or other areas that you mentioned. I'm talking about economic growth. If you imagine being the president of a company, and I tell you, Tatiana, tomorrow you will have 2 more million potential clients. Is that a good news? Obviously, it's a good news.
I would think so, yes.
And it depends where your point of view is. If you see it as an opportunity, you will obviously promote inclusion. And also, imagine this. You can have more than, 2 million people contributing to the GDP, and only in Colombia that can mean a growth of 3 points in the next 3 years. So if you see it as an opportunity or in a position of development and not as a humanitarian aid, the opportunity opens up. And it's incredible what you can accomplish as a society, as a country.
Yes, that's true. So this morning we heard Dr. Padron speak about the values and the experiences that are essential for the next generation. Thank you for saying that. To continue the work that is being done through education and through giving opportunity. I think about that. Matt also mentioned today that the human connection and the empathy part of this whole conversation is to be at the core and the center of what we're talking about.
Exactly.
What are those investments, not just financial, but the cross collaboration between partnerships? How are they so important to the work that you do?
I think we can have, the private sector is absolutely key. And as I was mentioning before we came up stage, there is a gap. You have large unemployment rates, but also you have companies that are seeking employees and qualified employees. And if you see this as an opportunity, you will just apply any methodology that you can for them to land in a secure job. Just un dato, okay? There are more than 100,000 there's a gap of bilingual people in Colombia.
Okay.
Imagine that companies, BPO companies that cannot find bilinguals in Colombia but are missing opportunities to grow. If you invest in education and giving these opportunities to migrant and people from vulnerable communities, you will close both gaps. You will make these companies grow, and obviously what it means to the country, but also give these opportunities to thousands of people to overcome poverty.
We talked about the human trauma and how that impacts individuals that have been migrants, and how that follows some of us for most of our lives, but it also, in a good way, also focuses us for the rest of our lives. Like, I realized my parents migrated here, and what I've done to be able to kind of validate that sacrifice that was made for them was to work as hard as I can through educating myself. And one of the programs that you work with is around education, educating that next generation.
Exactly.
We are in a university campus.
Exactly.
How important is education to this conversation?
I think it's a key element. That's why we're partnering with WestField Business School to make this next generation of leaders in the U.S. hopefully give opportunities to migrants as well and the Latino community for them to accomplish the goals of becoming leaders in their own companies. And with the mindset that we actually believe in and we connect with that with WestField Business School is that they have the mindset of triple bottom line. They focus on people, planet, and profit. And when you put people as the first word, that means a lot. You're focusing in developing this person, and it's not enough just to give the opportunity. You have to accompany the person because the traumas that they're facing are not only just to get a job. After you get a job, you have to be able to take care of your kids. You don't have a place where you can leave them. So it's not only providing just an opportunity, but also accompany that opportunity of that person in the mid and long term as well. So.
Yep.
And it will create such a different impact in the community that actually are receiving. And we were discussing this before. People, when think of a refugee crisis, there are more than 80 million refugees worldwide. They think this is a crisis that it's the people wanting to go to developed countries, and it's absolutely the contrary. People are fleeing conflict, and they're going wherever they can.
Explain that a little bit more.
People are, the most refugees around the world don't go to developed countries. An example is Turkey, Colombia, and all Latin America. And they're not choosing to go, they're only where they can go. And also the refugee crisis there come overnight sometimes. You know, it's not like the Venezuelan process. Maybe it's more gradual for many years. Well, what now we call gradual, after you see a conflict like Ukraine, that you have 5 million people arriving to Poland almost in a week.
Right.
So that's, people are not choosing to go to a country because they want to. People are having to go to countries to save themselves. So that, I think there's a moral obligation, but I don't want to talk about only the moral obligation of many countries. I want to talk about the opportunity for the country that are actually receiving this people that actually
Just want to come.
can, exactly, and can help you develop so much in the country that is receiving them.
So Matt Swift this morning in his open remarks said that one of the main focuses for us here at Concordia this week, these next 2 days, is to show up, and to show up to discuss how we can focus on ways to invest and be part of this Western Hemisphere. How do we show up for migrant communities? How can we be supportive, but also how can we grow, like you said?
I think, from my point of view, is having a mindset of development. I've been repeating this over this couple of minutes. You don't know who's knocking on your door.
That's true.
Okay? So I want to always say about Alberto. You know, Alberto was a person that had to flee his country because his religion and because his political views. He spent time in 3 or 4 countries until finally the US gave him an opportunity. Alberto won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. It's Albert Einstein. So you don't know who's knocking on your door.
That's very true.
Okay? And if you have this open door for opportunity, and instead of seeing this as a humanitarian crisis, you have to give aid and continue doing, that's impossible to handle for any country, even developed countries, as been proven in Germany lately. You know?
Well, it's not just Albert Einstein. There's a slew of men and women that have come to the U.S. and other countries that have influenced and changed the history of those nations as well.
Well, Sergey Brin, Google, Madeleine Albright is a migrant. I can name many or thousands of people
we all
that are
can.
migrants, and you're an absolutely great example of this. Incredible woman, and having an incredible position in leadership here in the U.S. And you're living proof that this policy have to change. And I think the Colombian policy is being accurate. Obviously, we want, as NGOs, we want to better implementation, but I think it's been incredible what the country have done and opened the country for us to be able to develop ourselves and our lives there.
I don't think either you or I would be sitting here if it hadn't been for the sacrifices that people in our lives made to bring us to where we are, but also the mentors and the sponsors that took time to invest at all levels and all costs. So that we attribute that to that sacrifice. We've got 1 minute.
Yeah.
Tell our audience here and those that are watching online, what is the message that you want them to take away with on this conversation around mobility for immigrants in the world?
Again, change your mindset. I always say Venezuelans walk without shoes from Venezuela to all across America. That happened 200 years ago to secure independence. And I think there's a moral obligation to remind that Venezuelans, we did that 200 years ago, and our generals die and our soldiers die in many of the countries that are receiving now different migrants. And I think they should open their arms to them, and if they do it, you will have an economic growth, and that's been proven, and Colombia is a living example of how they can create a growth by receiving migrants in different countries.
That's absolutely right. Jose Hector, thank you so much for coming
No,
and
thank you so
sharing.
much.
We appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Thank you to all of you for listening. We appreciate it. And if people can contact you through your website to get
Yes,
more information
yes.
on the work.
AidLiveFoundation.com. We're happy to receive you there. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the rest
Thank
of
you.
the session here at Concordia. Have a great day.
Thank you.
That's amazing.